Hello. Today we're going to go over some tips and tricks in using SIGNL4 with the ConnectWise Manage app. You'll see here that I have loaded up my SIGNL4, and on this other tab here I have loaded up my ConnectWise. So let's go ahead and start with going into our team, and let's take a look at our ConnectWise app. So let's go to our teams and apps, and we'll scroll down here and we see our ConnectWise app here. And if I open up this app, you'll notice here that we have all of our settings, and we have their workflow names and our custom fields. And you'll see here that I have edited the names for my workflows, and this is just to make them a little bit easier to find for this particular instance. One of the good things about SIGNL4 is you're allowed to have multiple apps for the same connector, so I could have a second ConnectWise app. And I'll go ahead and create a second one down here now. And this allows you to pull tickets from multiple boards into the same SIGNL4 team. However, what we would want to do is change the workflow name and the custom field names so that we know that they're particular to this connection and this ConnectWise board that this connection is looking at. So let's say this one is going to connect into my IT Ops board. So I'm just going to put a little IT Ops at the beginning of my workflow names and my custom fields here. And I could go further too, and I could also put in my team name inside of SIGNL4 here, just so to further give me the information at a glance to let me know what board and what team this particular workflow rule or custom field is looking for. Next, then we would just put in our public API keys that we created from the ConnectWise app, and let me just go over here and go into our members and our API members. Now, every connection that you create will need a new API member, and there's a couple of tips and tricks that we found while doing this one as well. So if I go into one of my API members here, the first thing we notice is that your role ID needs to be set to an admin or have specific rights set to whatever its role ID is. And those rights can be found here in our SIGNL4 knowledge base, which is signal4.zendesk.com. And if I do a quick search on ConnectWise user roles, I will see right here off the bat creating a custom user role for the SIGNL4 API member. And this tells us what rights we need for this user to have access to. So you don't have to give them admin rights, they just need to make sure you have these rights here listed inside of this knowledge base solution. Now once that's done, another thing that seems to trip us up from time to time is the board location. So we have to select the board that we want the user to have access to. So if we're doing an integration or professional services, whichever board you want to be able to receive tickets from has to be selected here as the default board. And then lastly, the last option that trips us up now and then is the business unit. So if I select a business unit that does not have rights to my service board down here, then I still won't be able to pull in the correct tickets from the board. So we have to make sure that the business unit selected has access to the board that's selected in order for all of our tickets to flow from ConnectWise to SIGNL4. Another one of the big items that we have here is the status mappings. So we want to select updated in ConnectWise equals acknowledged in SIGNL4 and vice versa, as well as closed in both systems. Now, a lot of people don't use the default statuses inside of ConnectWise, and that's fine. By default, our rules are going to create using these default statuses of new, acknowledged, closed / resolved. However, you can easily come inside the system here and click on your workflow rules, and you can come in here and actually change the status anytime you wish to by clicking on our rule. And we'll see here that the ticket is a new not responded status. So if I edit this, I can actually change the status to any status that I have inside of my ConnectWise board. So if I have a unacknowledged or let's say a working on status, I can change my acknowledged status inside of these workflow rules to map to that working on status instead. See, so right here, if I got my SIGNL4 status contains acknowledged, and what I want to do is I actually want to expand that down, and we'll see that it changes ticket status to in progress inside of ConnectWise. So if I click on this, I can Scroll down and choose any other status that I have here, like the assigned status. Lets me know that this ticket has been assigned and a user is working on it. Or in your case, it could be something along the lines of appointment scheduled or working ticket. Any status that you would like to have set here so that we know what status to map to when somebody acknowledges alert inside of Signal4. And this will work the same backwards as well. So if somebody selects this status inside of your ConnectWise, this will automatically map to the assigned status inside of Signal4 to set that status on that ticket. This is just some of the most common tips and tricks we see when setting up and using the ConnectWise app inside of Signal4 to help improve your Signal4 and ConnectWise experience. Thank you, and have a nice day. Goodbye.